Hello, book lovers, and welcome to Book Talk Podcast, formerly Book Talk Radio Club. My name is Claire Harris, and today I'm talking to Dr. Jim Fantauzzo. Dr. Fantauzzo is the president of Creative Training Solutions, an organization of specialized management consultants, management trainers, and professional speakers. Jim is also an enthusiastic and successful marathon runner. His book, On the Shoulders of Leaders, was published in 2016. The information in the book is rich with realistic ideas for clear judgment, selecting the right leadership behavior, and capturing the true essence of leadership. Hello, Jim. First of all, welcome, and thank you for coming back on Book Talk Podcast to talk about your book, On the Shoulder of Leaders.
Oh, hi, Claire. It's a pleasure to be with you as always. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim, why the title On the Shoulders of Leaders?
Well, Claire, after giving it a lot of thought, creative thinking, and research, and based upon my consulting and training background, I realized that every organization has an organization chart. Healthcare, high-tech, academia, hospitality, and so on and so forth. So within that organization chart, from the president on down, let's talk a little bit about manufacturing. You have a VP of manufacturing, a VP of finance, a director of HR, a VP of research and development, so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. So all of these people in all of these organizations, again, healthcare, hospitality, high tech, they have responsibilities that are defined by an organization chart that they carry with them on their shoulders every day. Right. So that's how I came up with the title, to also include the positive fact that people in all organizations truly matter. They are important. Absolutely. And so leadership embraces all of that responsibility to build teams to go forward to meet the goals and organization, the mission statement, the vision statement, and so on. So I arrived at On the Shoulders of Leaders because it was pretty much universal as a title.
On the Shoulders of Leaders is a team-centered leadership book and can be a resource for anyone in the possession of authority. What is a team-centered leadership book? What does that mean?
It means that teams are critically important, and leadership needs to cultivate the teams within team members and build truly a culture of leadership to make people better. Mm-hmm. Because making people better helps their self-esteem, helps them be more productive, helps them be more loyal to the company, helps them really care about their job. And you can't have high expectations with low self-esteem. Mm-hmm. So having high expectations and low self-esteem will not work. They cannot coexist. So I think a leader, not only are they responsible for their managers are the authors of their leadership in the entire organization. So they have to understand how the human mind works and how to motivate people. So it's team-centered, involving all the skills, all the gifts, all the talents in the organization. At the same time, how to fix the problems if they exist.
Mm-hmm. On your website, creativetrainingsolutions.net, you say lack of skills and experience may have a negative impact on the employees who are under the supervision of a particular manager. So what are these particular skills that are needed to be a good manager? Just give me 2 or 3 of them.
They have to understand human behavior. They have to understand that the human mind can only hold one thought at a time, either positive or negative. So they must have a positive, dominant thought pattern to lead teams of people, to build skills, because we truly become what we think about all day. So having a positive mental attitude is critically important, and that does equate to success. Because all causality, as I call it, is mental, because we truly become what we think about. So they need to focus on potential. not limitations. How to build and cultivate the skills of every single employee within every department. Very important. And unless they understand human behavior, they won't be able to do that. And so that's where knowledge is critically important. In order to avoid stagnation, managers, again, the authors of their leadership, need to continually read books like mine, other leadership books, go to seminars, listen to audio tape in their car, and so on and so forth. Because there's no shortcut to learning. It's really, I call it management by perspiration, so to speak. They have to work hard. So it's not a lack of knowledge in all cases, Claire. It's a lack of will. If they have the will to succeed and build teams, they will be successful.
So without these skills, there may be, as you're saying, a negative impact on employees. What kind of negative impacts are we talking about? I know you touched on it before, but just give me an idea.
It'll be lack of morale, lack of respect for the leader, high turnover, people will leave, productivity goals will not be met, and so on and so forth. So it becomes very, very problematic if the leader isn't a positive role model. And quite often, to expand upon that point, people hear what the leaders say, but they watch what they do. So if they don't fulfill what they say they're going to do as a proactive leader, it can be very, very problematic. Very problematic. So it's really a lose-lose situation if the leader isn't effective. You know, the mission statement, every organization has a mission statement and a vision statement, won't be fulfilled. High probability the company will lose money. The quality of service will be lacking. And it's far-reaching. It really is.
Let's talk a bit about you now, Dr. Jim Fantauzzo, author and president of Creative Training Solutions. What exactly is Creative Training Solutions then?
Well, we are a group of professional speakers, a group of management consultants, a group, to expand upon that point, we conduct and facilitate leadership seminars and communication seminars and team building seminars and how to be an effective leader, and so on and so forth. We're far-reaching into Canada, sometimes overseas, but with COVID, not too often now, but clearly in the United States. We get calls from hospitality, high-tech, academia, and healthcare to help them with their employee leadership issues. And it's always a pleasure to join an organization as a consultant to help them improve in all of these areas, Claire.
How did you get into the training industry, Jim?
Well, after I got my baccalaureate degree, I was employed as a human resources manager. And from there, I just expanded into training. And that was the result of more training and looking at organizations in which to conduct training. It also encompassed my teaching background in the School of Business. And if I fused it all together between human resources and the training experience and responsibility and teaching and consulting, my business evolved into what it is today. But really the beginning was a human resources responsibility. Probably the most significant one I ever had was with Marriott Corporation.
Okay.
Working for Bill Marriott, I had the responsibility of 10,000 people and 12 hotels, if you can imagine.
You're recognized as one of the industry's finest speakers and seminar leaders in the areas of Christian leadership coaching, total quality management, management development, and employee motivation programs. I've noticed that you carry out some of these talks on cruise ships. That must be fun. Now the pandemic is supposed to be over. Have you done any talks recently? And I'm jealous if you have.
I have actually, Claire. I was invited in the past 6 months to give a talk on the Princess Cruise Line,
Oh,
which is always fun, always rewarding. And Princess is probably one of the finest organizations I've ever had to work with. But they dedicate a room for me, and they put the announcement in what they call the Princess Patter, which is the ship's newspaper, to invite employees as well as passengers to hear my presentation on the book, and of course that involves book signing, and it's been wonderful.
I bet.
I'm scheduled to go again in October, and possibly in December of this year again.
Now I'm definitely jealous.
I can't wait.
I've noticed on Facebook that you've been participating in some marathons. What kind of marathons are we talking about?
Well, so far I've done 158 races,
Wow.
and each marathon is 26.2 miles. I've done 48 of those. I've done 50 half marathons, which is 13.1 miles. And I've done 16Ks, 10Ks, and 5Ks. It really, in addition to my professional work, it has evolved into a running lifestyle. I love to run. I do my best creative thinking when I'm running. It must be the beauty of the environment and the quiet of the road. And I even take sometimes a pad and pencil or pen and record my thinking on a piece of paper so I don't forget it. So that's how rewarding it is for me. I love to run, and it helps me to stay in shape.
How long have you been running, and what started you on the marathon road, as it were?
Oh my gosh, I've been running for many, many, many years. A friend of mine came to me one time who was a professional engineer. He said, Jim, I'm going to be running the Buffalo Marathon in Buffalo, New York. Why don't you train for it? I said, no, you've got to be kidding. He said, oh, no, you could do it. You're young enough and you're in good shape. You could. Well, that was the beginning. I started running and training and running and training. And I finished my first marathon many, many, many years ago and just loved it. Just loved it. Became a way of life with me because it's far reaching in terms of my diet, my sleeping habits, my running shoes, and staying in condition, and so on. So I just hope that I can continue to do it for a long time to come.
And it gives you time, as you said, it gives you time to think about your writing and business. But do you sometimes just concentrate on the running, or do you find yourself still thinking about what you're going to be doing?
Oh, I think both. I think there's a duality. If I'm in a race, I concentrate only on the running. But if I'm training for a race, a 5-mile run or a 10-mile run, then I'll think about the business too, and what I've got scheduled for the day. Sure. Yeah, I do.
I'm just going to return briefly to your book by reading out an absolutely wonderful review for On the Shoulders of Leaders. The approaches are related to business strategies and proven ideas that are the result of the author's experience as a management consultant, speaker, researcher, trainer, corporate human resources professional in the real world of business. The information is rich with realistic ideas and approaches for clear judgment, selecting the right leadership behavior and capturing the true essence of leadership. That is a really great review, Jim. Well done.
Oh, thank you, Claire. It's always a pleasure to be with you.
Lastly, where can Book Talk podcast listeners purchase On the Shoulder of Leaders?
They can be purchased at Barnes & Noble or many bookstores around the world. Because Ingram is a major distributor, they can be purchased by Amazon and Walmart now also.
Oh, well done.
Walmart has begun to carry the book, which is truly wonderful for me.
Absolutely.
And through me, they can write to me. My email is cts7349@msn.com, and I would be happy to arrange to send them a signed copy.
Lovely. All right. Well, thank you, Jim. That was just great. Please come back on Book Talk podcast again. I'd love to chat with you and hear more. In the meantime, good luck for the future. And thank you, everyone, for listening to Book Talk podcast. Thanks very much, Jim. Lovely to talk to you.
Thank you, Claire. Thank you. It's a pleasure to be with you. Have a great rest of the day.
You too. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.